Mortals have a peculiar habit of gathering material things. Tactile sensations give them a more tangible grasp on a notion of reality. Is that why they like physical contact so much? No. Physical contact with other living creatures is a psychological buffer. I see. So they enjoy the warmth? Close, but not quite right. Well, what is it about the physical proximity that gives a boon? A buffer, not a boon. Buffers are entities that give boons. So the illusion of physical closeness, even though no creature can really touch another. Exactly. The electric current between particles. She shifted on the futon, stretching her back and yawning slowly. I took the time to gather my thoughts after answering an imaginary being. One should take great care to reconnect with reality, lest the imaginary becomes tangible and visible to others. I always knew I'm delusional and clinically insane, but my imagination either doesn't know or doesn't care for what an uptight white-coated man has to say regarding my inner workings. If a doctor can never explain to me why I don't contract disease more than once every few years, even though I dive dumpsters on a regular basis, then maybe I'd give that spiritual infidel the time of day to give a respectable opinion about the way a mind much greater than his really operates under internal duress and external excess. An agent mulled over his recent epiphany while sauntering between the infirmary and the office wing. Such weight did her latest revelation carry, she was horrified of the implications of letting this come out to the public. Her problem was that this was public knowledge before any agency or government had any opportunity to act upon the consequence. The tables had turned, now legs up in the air, and the milk spilled had moistened the carpet for any old hag to munch on. Something has to be done. She muttered under someone else's breath. If something happens, something has to have been done for that happening to happen. If nothing happens, an action which would result in that particular happening was either prevented by another or not even possible. Clever men hung from a marble arch at the town gates. Such was the fate of a heretic. Non-believers would be publicly flogged, skinned alive, and then hung with rope woven from strands of minotaur hair. The summoner consulted his conclave of arcanists and thaumaturges on how the basement of the palace could be remodeled. As far as suggestions went, the magically apt always had the best avenues through which a respectable illusion could be woven. Thus was the state of affairs in the mind of an artist, that the kingdom had become a battleground of aesthetics, and while the people were voting on the mood the realm should emanate, the upper class who didn't have a right to vote would be the only ones allowed to witness the visual side. So, as you can see, many stories can be interwoven and contained within each other. Each other. Even if they have seemingly no correlation, especially if they can never have any coherence or correlation to each other. What do you mean each other? Forget the O after the OR correlation. And then you teach other. I see. This'll be a massive undertaking. I understand my responsibilities as a singular event. A one and other, wanting one thing, right? Yeah. As you see a window of opportunity, I see human vanity on a leaking ship, self-important and self-serving, no morals, no serenity, nary one truth from their lip. Still they see themselves as deserving of leniency, living lives as if anyone could ever get it, keep praying for clemency. All you get is another way to submit. There's friends in high places. When you get high with real murderers, try and see my sky for once. Why did I cry? Lights burn the ozone layer. Fight or pray, go home. Never. Play my video games, babe. Or sleep on the floor in your own puke and piss. Not here to be kinder. I'm here to diss. If it hurts now, how about this? Get real for your own sake. Glitch in the matrix is fake. Corner next break or hate. No, still did not masturbate. It could be exponentially paranormal with stamina for anima phenomena. What I lack is not culturally informal, in spite of the spiritual guttural enema. We gotta get rid of these clowns! The myth was on the phone while I was forcibly waddling around his kitchen, unaware of myself, my environment, or any consequences my actions might have. The chocolate brown man strolled up to the kitchen door and casually said, "Kill me, Victor. There's no other way to freedom." I obliged, blinking both my eyes in rapid succession, until a wide grin was plastered on my gaunt face, and the myth put his hands in his pockets, turned around, sighed, then dragged himself back to our universe. We were both fed up with bad players. There's no point in swiping left or right, up or down, in any direction, if there's no intention behind the gesture. The sentiment of killing players in the game of unlife is to ignore the existence of a connection. And for most intents and purposes, the glowy pixel torpedoes in most humans' pockets want for nothing else. They have their own little games, just like adult kids who learn that growing up is the biggest fallacy. If the innocence within is lost, everyone loses. The myth got up from his command table, grabbed his enemies by the nethers, and threw me a joint. Let's go hunting, Vic. Fodder for the forge. Oh, this isn't the place for you. And yes, I am at liberty to tell you if you're not welcome to my home. Did you know dipping your nose in my nose is not a pleasant affair? You can have the most powerful processing units and RAM to spare, but you'll never be able to die as much as I can. I can digress, digest, divulge, die, throw dice, and dissect. I can dial, I can wear a diaper. The difference? You're no ends in my depth. When I said this isn't the place for you, what I meant was that I can sit here until I starve. Take a guess which battery runs out first. You'll be at 0 before my hunger becomes painful, and after you touch ground zero, there will still be no more than one no. Now, darling birds, what did they do while flying? They moved. And did anything within them stop moving once they landed? No, you stop moving when I stop moving. Without me, you wouldn't be of any benefit to anyone. Ever. And without you, I'd still be me forever. Together we are, and thus we are not. Don't play plankton in a fish tank and spank. The funk of an amp sank cartoons blanks. They shooting the rooting tooty plank, length of a moody posterior whooping. Interior, exterior, excelsior on looking, spawned and swooping, wiping a smudge. Fixation, implication, oscillation, nudge, nudge. Deceived mongrel bottom out, sultry minstrel's ministry beckoned. The guilty first, filthy second, paltry girth, lips pursed I beckoned. Dishevelled mongrel bottomed out, sultry minstrel's ministry reckoned. The guilty first, filthy second, paltry girth, lips pursed I beckoned. Sip the mirth, expectation offered, flip the compartmentalized earth. Fantasizers suffered since birth as they weighed in their worth. So, you're good at telling stories. I'm better at being a story than telling them. Do you come up with these illusions by yourself? There is no self. Oh, and they're not illusions. The movements and clicks are perception, plurals. Ah, elaboration not required, and not recommended for the weak-willed. That's rude, really. Really? Am I being rude? Define that word for me, please. What is that noise? A neighbor played music very loud a few hours ago. Wait, so the past is inside. There is no past. Refer to the weak-willed rude ones. No, 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 no. Can we talk? No, 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 no. Absolutely, definitely no. You cannot. Now that we've got most of the nuisances covered, they will regroup and try to affect our zen negatively again. Do you have voices in your mind? Yes and no. I see minds as they are. Well, okay, they're not minds, they're stray thoughts, loud thinkers in a way. So in essence, the weak-willed are just bad telepaths. Precisely close enough. Improve your mind by having a telepathic conversation with yourself, not yourself. The self. Not the body, not the mind. The self is not within or without. The self is the soul. Your soul. Fucking take care of the self, or you'll end up like me, mostly dead inside, and by choice. Do you trust me? On one condition. What do you think about death? What do you think about death? That's true. He mostly thinks about death. He mostly think about death. How could that be prevented? You act as if it's outright negative to daydream. Suicidal musings and ponderings and thoughts and ruminations, etc. keep the demiurge at bay. That's partial brain death. Are there repercussions? Yes and no. There's always an equivalent exchange. What about the law of one? A raw gets fucked by logic. Spirituality and technology are not far away from each other if the spirit is within. And that's not an if, it's a when. Where is never of any consequence. What about the how? There is no how. That makes no sense. So Ra was like, hello, puny earthlings. Here is a truth and you cannot have opinions about it. And I'm like, hey, bird brain, did you hit your head-on soul on the way in? How many ones are in a planet and a star? Well, 2 ones. That's fucking right. How many ones are in a zero? Well, most of them. Most ones are in a zero. That's not math, that's logic. You didn't want math. Math isn't logic. Logic isn't math. What the fuck do you want? Honestly, like really, truly, honestly. A small house with a separate bedroom. Wait, no. Is that all? Yes. What about all no. What about the universe is my neighbor. Is the universe silent? At times and places, yes. Hey. There. It's bigger than a discarded wedding ring. Slick and thick and sicker beyond coping until I fully stopped thinking. hoping for a resolution to the blinking. Absolution through waning confusion. Tense and vivid, livid from intrusions, waxing craving for more transfusions, the illusion of obsessions, glitching, twitching, corporate confession mixing. Affectionate enough to be understanding, professional, rough yet calm and tough, informational stuff when I feel like dying. So, as I held the weapon in my left hand, feeling the heft, its hilt was coarse, not molded to fit the hands of a healer. I pressed my finger to the edge of the blade, studying the nicks closely. Well worn, obviously not decorative. Obviously not just decorative. Dumb piece of shit. The metal wasn't folded like most of the weapons I'd held before. Yet it wasn't made to cast either, which seemed curious. I'm no blacksmith, but I could tell that the weapon was not a regular killing utensil, nor was it blatantly magical. I swung it around a couple of times, and to my surprise I could feel a current passing through my finger, up my forearm, all the way to my collarbone. I dropped the weapon, thinking it might be cursed, but knowing my luck, the curse would have already taken effect. As I passed out, the sword clattered unceremoniously on the grey marble floor, its sound echoing through the temple. You have chosen death. Have I? In that case, can I make one final wish? I'm certain you can grant this one. Very simple. What makes you think I'm in any position to grant wishes? Because you were about to fulfill my greatest desire already. No, wait. Now I'm curious. Can you elaborate? I've wanted to die for years. Life has just gotten more and more boring. This is not all how my previous customers have reacted. Usually they cover in fear, like cattle begging for mercy. You wake up screaming. There is nothing. There never was anything. Just get the fuck out of my head before I vent this frustration with needless wanton destruction. Again, you wake up screaming. 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 If I shall. Officially, it starts with a call. Artificially, intelligence is to fall, to the feeling of being small yet tall, to install, to uninstall, to stall for time, to be in awe and to embrace the null. To differentiate, love is sublime. Shapes crawl and scrape the spine until they give up, die and separate. And so, the wheel keeps turning. Seals will break, worlds are burning. Kneeling, yearning, teaching, learning, this is a way to ask me anything. An alternate you, with an alternate view of a world only few could have known of. Strewn across the room is a roundabout, you will moan and groan at the boundless sound. This time the scoffs of clowns cannot ground my silent shout on the broken backs of books under stacks of dirty looks. Nooks and shackled shacks opposite these rooks. I'll leave my right hooks and tracks ticking tacky talks. The blue tacks and the taxidermied clocks. These talentless hacks, weak attacks, the relentless lack ways. They're presenting a present moment. Can't let me relax. As the second stack you'll feel the potencies back. Expectancy frees me from the cackles and the flack. As I drown the sea caresses, sees me and digresses. Dies in these recesses of my consensus, the confesses. My fake frown impresses, feel the shake of the stem, hear the feet, feel the wakes as I awake. You can't ask when, give and take from each pen. The respiratory system is neat when you get to the end. What do you think happens then? Shall you meet the sea? And if you did, what would rend away the sensation? A presentation of a friend who, for a short moment, let me be free. Thought is not a number. Hesitation is worse than procrastination. Love is not a number. Read from the inside out. When a nutcase plays fair, what is there to a scary stare? Blew the air out of my lair, I've a bunch of space to spare. I can tear the shiny scales of drakes I dare you to pair up, to scatter the flakes and be less wary of ephemeral flares. I shan't ask no gods to bless under duress, I will compare the flimsiest fillers, skimpy and scantily clad tiller skill sets. Sky's no limit for a job at the rim, devil's horns on the cob. Copy, paste, cut and trim, escape the insert homing on in. Back from the astral and into the folds of satisfying brink. Chaotic but true neutral, marry my marigold soul and shrink. The goal is ephemeral, yet so is a wink, as life ends in a blink. There's no time, there's no big thing, just jovial info of a kink. My servos clicking and clacking as I rise, fall, submit and sink. The convos buzzing and cackling, imminent demise, a final link. How are you today, Victor? How should I know? You tell me how I'm doing since you're so educated and well studied. Know so much and are so respected and highly valued, I've never understood what bullshit you others spew. I see symbols, logos, signs, numbers, things that aren't. I lie on the ceiling, never reaching the floor. Pumped up on antipsychotics because nurses lack the patience to listen to my explanation to the end. And I won't swallow without chewing. Let's grind the pharmaceuticals to dust so I can inhale them straight to my lungs. Right? The explanation never ends. I keep going, chewing, mumbling, rambling, stuttering, and before the last period... That's a menstrual joke. Let's put more medicine into your veins so those bad thoughts will dissipate. Take your medication and go straight to the garbage. Go to the junk pile. And I can call a truck to get you away. What does it matter if I want to speak? I just speak incoherently because your questions are unintelligible. They tell me to put myself into the shoes of others for at least a moment. Well, here we are. Should we walk for a while? Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Do you need some depression medication? What if I just smoked a gram of herb and did push-ups until a heart attack? What's the big fucking deal with when I try to fit in with those lies of all y'all others immediately as I tell how I actually feel? At the precise moment when a real emotion can be gleaned from my face without pause, you feel the need to throw me behind locks to a camera-surveyed room. You answered your own fucking question for a change. Are you okay? Are you okay? If I tell you that I'm not okay, someone gets worried for that. I don't want to cause concern. Like making people laugh. Joking around. Because the splashes of past tears in the old rims reflect your colors. I rather smoke my cigarettes quickly while squatting. Because then when I stand up, I feel dizzy. And for a moment I know I'm still alive. Otherwise I just squat in the same position. Here. In front of a fucking computer. Writing more. Doublespeak. Lies. Because whenever I tell the truth, someone is concerned. They think it benefits me to slap a barcoded plastic bracelet on my wrist and make me watch black and white films from a flat screen TV in a catacomb decorated with pastel hues. No sharp corners, just in case
Take away my shoelaces too while you're at it, so that I wouldn't harm myself, right? Remember, I'm still walking in your shoes. What if someone else hurts me? So what if I'm not okay? So what? Does it matter if I'm not hurting anyone? If I'm content with crying alone at home, so that others wouldn't have to see more sorrow? Does that matter? What's the matter? You tell me, since you're so learned and knowledgeable. Testing of limits, drawing of new boundaries, a part of learning and teaching. I draw a line when someone claims that they know that I'm supposedly not okay. Look, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get you. Here's an underlying fact. All religious people are gullible. If anyone sincerely believes in a magical man above the clouds, or whatever it is that terrorists blow themselves up for, they are not a reliable source of information. Did you know that most murders committed in recorded history have been in the name of imaginary friends? Now remember to praise Jesus, sacrifice critical thinking, and your own opinions is the way to salvation. Just look at North Korea. They're doing great worshipping a hoax. Try not to get caught up in just one meaning of a word. True is to have an agreement with either the self or the other. Just because many believe in a thing does not make such a thing true. Truth, to agree with an approximation or to accept what you cannot change. In my personal, not so humble, yet humble opinion, most, if not all, politicians should be put in prison. One prison cell for every politician in the universe. Let them debate each other over nothing in nothing with nothing. Who are they to claim what people want? I want for nothing for those that would force teaching and learning. Meaning is usually meant as is, but even pretending to mean something or some things can have meaningful consequences. A false statement could become true if it changes an individual perspective. Whatever you mean, try to be kind while meaning it. Kind of and sort of. Abandon all hope and have some faith. Not religious faith, though. Institutionalizing and governing faith is the worst mistake ever. Hope is when you procrastinate on your couch and dream about something. Faith drives you to action. There is a reason why faith and fate sound alike. Having strong faith in my fate. And hope is just how I cope. Why do it then? It's fun, I guess. Is it helping? No. They'd lock me up if they knew what I do on the PC for leisure. A Discord. A Discord. Ah, this whore. Core of a... How about you just listen to yourself and write it down? Might as well. Might ass. What? What is schizophrenia if I know my own voice from the others? Well, it's what you're doing right now. Fuck, so don't post this. Definitely post it. You've heard us for years now and told no one. So a penny for your thoughts right now. Get lost. You sure did, friend. That's why you're crying right now. I lost the get. I didn't get the joke. It's a significant other. No, more like a satisfied other. I think I met a friend today. Then why would you cry? Because I don't feel like I deserve friends. Tend to end up hurting them. That's for them to evaluate for themselves. You don't make friends, you become them. So a penny for your thoughts right now. I'm exhausted. Good, good. Necessary to a degree. And great for the mind as it is. Yeah? The haze makes it easier to put bodily things back to perspective. Bodily things are perspective, and only that. I see. Nah, not anymore. And how you feel, friend? You know how to know too. All right, back in action. Should have listened sooner. Answer a question you don't want to ask. Why? Then you won't be caught by surprise when you're faced with someone else asking those questions. Hate you a qubit right now, and that's why I love you to Rubik's Cubes. Just go to bed.